What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy D Dyson. Finished up Miss Marvel, and it was good. You know what I'm saying? It was okay. And with 6 episodes, which I felt like was enough, could have expanded, especially how I feel about Disney, the way they do their shows, which to me is like making a 2-hour movie and breaking it up into shows, where with this, you got to see Kamala Khan get her powers or understand her powers, give the backstory to her powers, and her use her powers and understand her powers. Now, didn't really explore too much on how she's learning it. It's just coming to her and she's handling it very well. So that's why I was telling myself, I'm like, could use a little bit more of her struggling trying to use her powers like they did when she was trying to catch the boy, and the boy was like, yeah, I broke my leg, type of thing, until now she full on understands how to use her powers with the footsteps and running, and how to use the hands. So I'm telling myself it may be more to it. She has to learn a lot more, but her cosmic energy is something different from Photon, something different from Captain Marvel, and I can't wait to explore that in the Marvels or Marvels. So that's why I'm telling myself, even at the end of this, the end post-credit scene with Brie Larson appearance as Captain Marvel, and she just zapped in, was like, whoa, so sitting there telling myself, I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely going to be doing a deep dive into that this week, be like, what does that even mean? But I've seen a lot of people this morning say that they'd had mutant tie-ins in Miss Marvel's episode 6. And could that be from, what's the boy's name who also got the powers? Like, could it be from him? Because I'm really still trying to figure out where the mutant aspect of it is coming from. And as far as the agent who was going after them, I feel like she's going to be in Thunderbolts, under V, Valerie or whatever her name is, who is under Secretary John Ross, and rest in peace to that guy, but was also in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, with the crazy Captain America. So I was like, okay, I'm seeing how the buildup of this is going to be and how all this is going to lead to Marvel Secret Wars. I'm here for it. But I want to see about this mutant aspect of it. X-Men's, mutants, Easter eggs confirmed in Miss Marvel's episode 6 with the Cosmic Wonder. Let's see what Warren got to say.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU, and we just watched the Miss Marvel finale. And before we get started, we are going to be talking about spoilers, so you have been warned. And now that that's out of the way, let's talk about the fact that basically mutants now exist in the MCU. In the Miss Marvel finale, they have officially set up mutants. And if you're wondering how exactly they did this in the finale, well, besides Bruno saying the word mutation, there was one Easter egg that made it extremely clear that Kamala is indeed a mutant, but you might have missed this, weren't paying attention close enough. And of course, we are going to talk about that post-credit scene. We have a cameo from Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, and she shows up in the room of a fan that adores her. Of course, it's not just a fan, it is Miss Marvel's room. And a lot of people are confused about how exactly this all happened, but don't worry, we're going to break down everything you need to know in this video. So, as far as the mutants being confirmed in the MCU is concerned, let's talk about how Marvel Studios just did that in Miss Marvel Episode 6. In the finale, at the very end, where it says 1 week later, Bruno talks to Kamala and he says there's something that he needs to tell her. And he tells her, okay, so I went back and I looked at your genetic makeup again. Kamala makes a joke and says, Bruno, you can call me if you're bored, instead of doing things like that, looking into her genetic makeup. But Bruno says, no, I did it because Amir, her brother, kept asking if he might have powers too, if these were genetic. And in this research that Bruno did on Kamala's genetics, he actually found something. And he says that he thinks they might have been wrong the entire time on their guesses on what was happening with Kamala's genetics and the bangle activating powers within her. Kamala asks, well, what do you mean? He then says, so we know why you have access to the Noor and how you can wield it. What he is referring to here is her and her family being clandestines. That is her family genetics. But he says, but when I compared you to the rest of your family, something still seemed off. He says, Kamala, there's something different in your genes. And I think a lot of people thought that they were going to explain that Kamala is actually an inhuman like she is in the comics. However, that's not the route they go down. Instead, Bruno says there's something different about your genes, like a mutation. Now, this is obviously a mutant reference, but this is not the Easter egg that I am talking about. The big Easter egg that confirms that Kamala Khan is a mutant and that this is a setup for the mutants and the X-Men is the theme song that they play right as Bruno says a mutation. If you listen carefully right here, when Bruno says a mutation, you can hear the theme song from the X-Men animated series play. Take a listen here.
In your genes. Like a mutation.
This is very obvious because nothing else sounds like this in the background music playing. It's a very hard synth that kind of comes out of nowhere and then fades away. And we don't hear anything else like this in the background music. Not before, not after. And if you're wondering if this really is the X-Men animated series theme, yes. Yes, it very much is. Take a listen to it. That da-na-na-na-na-na is straight from the animated theme. So, this is the Easter egg right here that actually confirms that the mutants are now in the MCU. Kamala Khan has actually been changed from an inhuman to a mutant. But the mutants are now officially in the MCU. And what's actually really funny about this, and kind of perfect, is the timing of it all. Check this out. Kevin Feige, in a recent interview, has talked about how we're going to see pretty soon how everything is going to kind of start to come together. And he also said that pretty soon we were going to be teased about the MCU's future. This is most likely what he was talking about, the mutants, and the fact that Ms. Marvel was going to reveal the mutants in the MCU. Also, check this out. The last thing that Kevin Feige said at San Diego Comic-Con, the last time that Marvel Studios attended in 2019, was about the mutants. Literally, one of the last things that he said before ending the Hall H Marvel Studios panel was about the Fantastic Four and the mutants. Take a listen here.
There's no time left to talk about mutants and how mutants.
Now, Kevin Feige immediately after this in an interview did say that mutants and X-Men were interchangeable. When he says mutants, he means the X-Men. But keep in mind the X-Men is a team. So yes, we're going to get mutants in the MCU before we get the X-Men team in the MCU. So the last thing Kevin Feige said at the last Comic-Con that Marvel Studios attended was about the mutants, and now 10 days before the next Comic-Con that Marvel Studios is confirmed to be attending at Hall H, Ms. Marvel drops the word mutations, and it even plays the theme from the X-Men animated series. This all seems way too coincidental, and I'm hoping that Marvel Studios is going to address the mutants in the MCU at San Diego Comic-Con in just 10 days during their Hall H panel. This is the biggest Easter egg that we've gotten in a very long time, and it's super exciting, so let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. And now let's talk about that post-credit scene with Captain Marvel. I know a lot of fans are confused about what was happening, but if we think about how Kamala's great-grandmother discovered the bangle, things start to become more clear. When Kamala's great-grandmother Aisha got the bangle, she took it from a blue arm, confirming that the person that she took it from, even though they were dead, was a Kree. And they also mentioned that somebody told them that there were supposed to be 2 bangles, but they only found 1. So the fact that the bangle was taken from a Kree arm and there was supposed to be 2 of them confirms that these are actually the negabands. Now, in the comics, the negabands are an ancient Kree relic. So the fact that they found the bangle from a Kree makes perfect sense. Also, not to mention, Captain Marvel, Carol Danvers, thought that she was a Kree. So obviously big connections to Captain Marvel as well, and this post-credit scene set up the Marvels, which is Captain Marvel 2, which we know Miss Marvel is going to be a part of. Now, as far as how Miss Marvel and Carol Danvers managed to switch places, this can also be linked to the Negabands. In the comics, Captain Marvel, not Captain Marvel, but Captain Mar-Vel, was given the Negabands by the Kree Supreme Intelligence, but the Negabands would end up trapping Captain Marvel inside of the negative zone. However, back on Earth, Rick Jones found a pair of Negabands himself, and using the Negabands, he was able to swap places with Captain Marvel. So it seems the Negabands have a power that lets the users of the Negabands switch places. Now again, they did establish that there were supposed to be 2 Bangles in the MCU, but they only found 1. So we can assume that the other is out there somewhere. And since a Kree had one of them, it's safe to assume that a Kree has the other. And we know that Captain Marvel used to be a Kree, even though she was kind of brainwashed as one. But we also know that Captain Marvel is out there in the cosmos doing whatever right now. She's being a cosmic Avenger. So what most likely has happened here is that Captain Marvel came in contact with the other Bangle, and something was activated that caused the 2 of them to switch places. In fact, if we take a look at Carol Danvers in this post-credit scene, it does seem like she has something on her wrist. She is wearing gloves, but on her left hand, it does look like there's something metal on there. Now, it doesn't exactly look like a bangle, not like the one Kamala has, but it could have been reshaped or reformed somehow. After all, these relics are ancient, and they are technically magic, so they could have definitely been reshaped. Also, if you think about the post-credit from Shang-Chi, Captain Marvel gets some sort of a call, some sort of a distress signal that makes her have to leave the call. This could be related to the other Bangle, which she eventually goes to check out, that causes her to swap places with Miss Marvel. Now, she doesn't look exactly the same as she does in this post-credit scene here, but perhaps it doesn't happen immediately after. It may happen just a little bit after that Shang-Chi post-credit scene. But I would bet that these 2 are connected. So that is a setup for the Marvels / Captain Marvel 2, and the Mutants are now in the MCU. So let me know what you think about this news in the comments down below. How excited are you for the Mutants in the MCU and for Captain Marvel 2? Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest Marvel news and
I really tell myself, thank you, Cosmic Wonder, for this, because it did have that X-Men new, and just having those 2 main things broken down. I really love that. I really tell myself, didn't realize Comic-Con is next week. Whoo-wee! It's gonna be a crazy week come next week, and I'm gonna be here for it. So, you guys enjoyed my reaction to Cosmic Wonders X-Men Mutants Easter egg confirmed and Miss Marvel episode 6. Subscribe to my channel, post comment down below, and like the video. It's your boy, D. Dyson. Peace.